Hello everyone. As most of you know, true crime and real murder stories are entering our world, and nowadays people normalize it more than you know. It is known that true crime podcasts get over 1 billion downloads, and according to Edison research, over 85% of teenagers start watching it over the age of 13. Watching true crime has been making its entry since the 1500s, and it has been glorified more and more ever since. Glorification of true crime can be seen as celebrating and romanticizing real crimes or violent crimes instead of having respect and dignity for the victims in true crime shows. The glorification of true crime can come in many forms. By finding criminals as charming and admirable, seeing true crime is just a way of entertainment and more. True crime is a good way to inform the world about what is happening, but it becomes an extreme when people start to celebrate crimes and see it as a normal part of lives rather than a bad part of our lives. True crime is a way to release dopamine, which is another reason to why people want to glorify it and why it is so addictive. It also causes anxiety levels to rise, and younger viewers might not be able to tell the difference between real danger and entertainment. We will also be talking about the technology, math, and algorithms behind true crime. Also, how social media can spread false information which can raise unethical points about true crime. Another part of glorification of true crime and of true crime in general is forensic science and the effect of CSI. By this, we will talk about the science and tech in crime by using DNA, fingerprints, and more. The purpose of this speech is to inform you about the perceptions of true crime and how they changed over time.
Forensics have advanced greatly in terms of technology, analysis tools that help investigate crimes that forensic technicians and criminalists use regularly. The criminal investigative workplace has, over the years, developed a great dependency on these detective instruments. Fingerprint analysis, ballistic advances, radio communication, forensic science expansion, and body and dash cameras are all relevant technology in CSI. This increases the success rate of investigations and helps place suspicions on suspects. This goes as far as analyzing shell casings to determine what type of firearm was used. Recently, the use of high-impact 3D laser scanning used in crime scene mapping is one of the most efficient ways to further an investigation. By creating a 3D model of the crime scene using millions of data points, the system can uncover key evidence such as bullet trajectory, bloodstain patterns, and even virtual autopsies. Upon that, it's highly preservative of the crime site, allowing for multiple teams to work at once and still have access to all the evidence. Investigators also have the option to go back and review evidence without disrupting the physical site. Preserving the physical integrity of the site allows evidence to stay relevant for longer and lets investigators keep the site active for longer as well. This technology makes the investigation thorough enough to be presented in court as visual evidence, making confusing illustrations clear for legal professionals. Highly clear evidence is crucial when deciding the outcome of criminal events. The CSI effect complicates many criminals' trials due to a lack of evidence. When jurors are influenced by crime-related media, they may believe that a concrete case of evidence needs to be presented in order to prove anything. However, this is not the case, as many clues work together to form an explanation. CSI is the public misconception that profound scientific evidence must be discovered when deciding if a defendant is guilty of his crimes. Crime media, such as true crime podcasts, documentaries, and others, heavily shape the public's perception of fine legalities, as it is the most accessed form of news to the public. Since these media forms are often entertainment to hook viewers, they don't spend time on harsh details and instead assume every crime is solved by one smoking gun. As a result of this, much of the public believes that fingerprints and DNA samples are the only ways to definitively point the criminal, leading to disregard for further evidence. Even if the desired forensic evidence comes to light, it may not always be as useful as the public thinks. A myth in criminology is that identifying a fingerprint or DNA profile is always useful. From Rally 2023, fingerprint and DNA profiles discovered at crime scenes are not always incriminating toward an individual. For example, if fingerprints or DNA are found within a place where the suspect is allowed to be at some time, this may not incriminate them as a suspect in the crime. If the juror does not know how to analyze forensic evidence, they may think that non-useful evidence like this completely proves the defendant as innocent. Let this be known as the reverse CSI effect. In any case, the overconsumption of popular media heavily dictates the outcome of criminal events under court. The jury must stay aware of how evidence supports or disproves the actions of an individual and not limit themselves to less than factual evidence. Guilty defendants are acquitted of their crimes a lot because of jurors supposedly not being presented with substantial evidence, even if the evidence they're looking for is unrealistic outside of Hollywood. From this, the criminal justice system suffers because the CSI effect has influenced the public's perception on criminal actions, as not all trials can provide conclusive high-tech evidence like Netflix can.